Imagine a single thread, thinner than a strand of hair, yet strong enough to hold the weight of an elephant. That's spider silk. Now, picture a spider tirelessly weaving its web. Then boom, a storm tears through it. In a moment, all that effort is destroyed. If we were in that position, we might be devastated, overwhelmed by the loss. But what does the spider do? It doesn't just sit there mourning. It doesn't hesitate. It simply starts again, stronger, wiser, and better prepared for the next challenge. That right there is resilience in its purest form. And what's fascinating about resilience is that it is not just a human trait. It's a law of nature. It's physics. It's woven into the very fabric of existence. It's woven into the very silk that the spider spins. Now, let's explore that silk, not just as a metaphor, but as a marvel of science. Let's uncover how nature's blueprint for survival and adaptation can teach us profound lessons about life, struggle, and the power to rebuild. We often underestimate the engineering genius of nature. While we think of spider silk as something very fragile, science tells us a different story. Let's break down its astonishing properties. If you compare spider silk to steel, pound for pound, spider silk is stronger. A single strand, no thicker than human hair, has the ability to withstand immense weight. That is not just impressive, it's groundbreaking. Scientists have studied this material for decades with the hope of replicating it for use in bulletproof clothing, medical sutures, and even space engineering. Because nature, as it turns out, has already solved many of the challenges that we as humans are just beginning to figure out. Unlike rigid materials that snap under pressure, spider silk is elastic. It can stretch up to 5 times its original length. In a 2016 study, scientists at Johns Hopkins University found out that this incredible flexibility is as a result of the unique structure of the silk's proteins, allowing it to absorb energy, get deformed, but never breaking. Now think about that for a moment. How often do we, as humans, resist change? When life pulls us in unexpected directions, our instinct is to tense up, fight against it. What if we learned from the spider silk? What if we leaned into the changes, stretched ourselves, and absorbed the energy rather than fighting against it? Some species of spiders produce silk that can heal itself. So when small tears occur, the molecules realign and restore its original strength. Pause for a second and ask yourself, how do we as humans heal? When life tears at us, do we have the ability to realign, to regain our original strength? Because resilience is not just about being strong in the face of adversity. It's about always weaving again. So, this leads me to my next point. There are some spider silks. In fact, all of spider silks change with the environment. When in dry conditions, it stiffens, giving it better structural integrity. In humid conditions, it softens, and the flexibility allows it to withstand more impact. Now think about that, adaptability. Why don't we as humans adjust like spider silk? Why don't we see every chance as an opportunity to become something better suited to our circumstances? Not fighting changes, but working with it. Days after Hurricane Helene, I traveled through Asheville to pick up a friend from the airport. Driving through those streets felt like entering a different world. The roads barely recognizable, homes reduced to rubble, and the people sifting through what was left, searching for pieces of a life that no longer existed. But what struck me wasn't just the destruction, it was the response. Amidst all the wreckages, I saw people rebuilding, piece by piece, board by board, neighbors helping neighbors, sharing food, clearing debris. And at that point, I remember the spider silk, the spider and its web. These people weren't just enduring hardship, they were adapting to it. Like molecules realigning after damage, like silk adjusting to humidity, they were learning, shifting, and rebuilding. And that was when I realized that resilience is not just about toughness, it's about transformation. Now we've seen how resilience is built into nature, but how does it work within us? Psychologists have found out that our brains are literally wired for resilience. So when we experience hardships, our neural pathways change. If we push forward, we literally rewire our mind to become more resistant to stress. Because resilience isn't just a trait, it is skill that can be built. Some spiders do not repair damaged webs, they abandon it and start fresh. And isn't that true in life? Many times we cling to things, relationships, careers, identities that no longer serve us. Why don't we switch like the spider silk and work with all the changes? I've had storms. Before I go to that, how can we then take all of this and adapt the lessons into our lives? First point, embrace change like spider silk. Instead of resisting challenges, work with it. Stretch, but don't snap. Like the streets say in my native language, mafo, which literally means don't break. Second point, heal like silk molecules. Don't just recover, realign. Become stronger in the broken places. Third point, know when to walk away, because not every battle is worth fighting. Fourth point, anchor yourself like a spider's web. Find your foundation, whether it's a community, faith, or a personal philosophy. Have something you can hold on to when the storms come. I've had storms in my life. You know those moments when everything starts to feel like it's falling apart. I had a time like that. Nothing made sense. I kept trying to rebuild what I lost, but it wasn't working. And that was when I remembered the spider silk. Not every web is meant to be rebuilt. And then I simply left it and reweaved something better. We all face storms. We've all had experiences of when life feels like it's torn us apart. But the next time you find yourself in the wreckage of what once was, ask yourself, am I trying to fix something, align it to my goals? Or is this an opportunity to weave something better suited to what I had? Because resilience is not just about never falling, it's about always weaving again. Thank you.